People think of entrepreneurship as invention. I'm going to come up with this greatest new thing. But that's not actually entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is innovation, and innovation is slightly different from invention. Invention is the thing. Innovation is commercialization of the thing. And with commercialization comes, your value chain. How are you going to get the supplies you need to manufacture? Once you manufacture, how are you going to distribute it so you can get into the hands of the customers? How are you going to deal with these partnership and channel partner chains along the way? How are you going to deal with HR policies? How are you going to deal with regulation? It's a lot more than just building the thing. So it's not invention, and that's what I think young entrepreneurs really need to understand, that and the difference between the two. Exuberance is part of being a successful entrepreneur, and I expect all of the entrepreneurs who come onto the show to be extremely fanatical about their ideas. They love their ideas. The problem with that exuberance and that passion is that sometimes that can put blinders on you, and you sometimes can't see the obvious because you're so focused on this one thing. A good example like this is you're really excited about building a product, and maybe you're excited about selling the product, but perhaps you haven't really thought about or thought through what it's like to support that product on an ongoing basis across thousands of customers, across multiple locations in the region, and across time. And the entrepreneurs today will have lots of vision, but maybe they'll be missing certain parts of the execution just because they haven't done it before. Have they costed out a project? Probably not. But that's a hard thing to learn in school. You need intuition that's built upon experience to do that. Realistically, no one is going to have all of the traits, the born traits, that are required in order to run the firm. In fact, sometimes those traits can be conflicting. So yes, you want a rule breaker who's going to come up with innovative, groundbreaking ideas, but at the same time, you need somebody who can execute, and the person who's fantastic at executing probably has very different traits. So what we see in the wild are entrepreneurial teams. So it's not that if I don't have rule breaking as part of my personality, I should forget being an entrepreneur. That's not true at all. It just means that you need to find the right team that supplements the areas where maybe you are not strong, but maybe where you supplement the others. My sense from entrepreneurship is that it's a strong balance between born and made. I think if you don't study it, then you'll go out there and you'll be very inefficient about achieving your dreams. You're going to make a lot of mistakes which have been made before, and if you just took time to learn from them, you wouldn't make them yourself, and then you would save yourself a huge amount of time. At the same time, I think you have to have this balance of experience as well. So it's sort of the born and the made, but the made is composed of both academic learning as well as practical experience. So you have to go out there and try a few companies and fail a few times. You have to be prepared to do that, because experience, you can't just have the academic learning and you can't just have the experience. Only when you put them together are you really a powerhouse. One thing is, I wish that I had realized that as an entrepreneur, your job is 80% sales, because you have to bring in the revenue. It's 80% sales, 80% innovation, 80% washing the toilets, and 80% HR. But there's a huge component of sales. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, maybe they're coming from engineering or life sciences, and they have great ideas, they have strong execution, they have good technology, strong technology, but they just can't sell it. And I think that was the most surprising thing to me when I started as an IT entrepreneur, is I thought, hey, I'm just going to write great software. But that doesn't really get you very far. I can talk in an impromptu way now, but believe me, 20 years ago, it wasn't like that at all. I would say two things for me are the biggest screw-ups that I see. The first is not doing sufficient market research. Either not knowing really what your customer wants, not knowing really what your competitors are doing, or not understanding the macroeconomic climate that you're in. If you don't do that basic research and you just write some ideas on a napkin, realistically, you're probably not going to make it. The second thing is not having clear relationships with your founders. I've seen many situations where great companies go down because of conflict between the founders about a year and a half or 2 years in, where life situations change, one founder goes this way, one founder goes that way, and they both feel as if they're contributing the way they were supposed to, but they both feel that the other person isn't anymore. And that's really down to the fact that they haven't really from the start defined roles and responsibilities and expectations. And then they end up not friends, you know, people actually, they lose their friendships over that.